This video is sponsored by Narked at 90. They are beyond technical. Right now there's an offer on if you go to narkedat90.com and use the Big Scuba code BIGSCUBA 2024.
And we're going to meet a sub pilot now. Ed, tell me what this is.
So this is a Triton 3K3 submarine, hull number 6 in the series. We also have hull number 7 next to it, but yeah, it is a submersible, can carry 3 passengers down to 1,000 meters or 3,300 feet.
Wow, that's a long way. Yeah.
It's a very long way, very dark down there.
So you're a sub pilot yourself, so how deep have you been in a...
I've been maximum depth in one of these, so I've done 1,000 meter dive. But majoritively, it's never really that deep. When you go that deep, there's not a whole lot to see. It's just a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is sort of up to around 500 meters is the majority of our dives.
Yeah. So tell us about the weighting and the buoyancy.
So the sub itself weighs somewhere around 9 tons, give or take. 9 tons, yeah. We have around 300 or 330 kilos of maneuverable weights at the front here. So depending on passengers and depths and even density of the water, we add and remove the weights just so we stay neutrally buoyant when we're in the water.
So do you always have a maximum of, so it's a maximum of 3 people?
Yeah, so pilot plus 2 passengers. And it gets pretty tight in there, but it's comfortable for a while.
Yeah.
Also, you can see on the front here we've got the manipulator arm. So that's used for taking all of the samples and things. And if there's anything cool that you want to pick up down there.
When you take samples, can you then bring them into the sphere?
No, but we do have, it's kind of a bolt-on attachment just on the side of the housing there. There's like a big basket that goes on, and then you kind of collect your samples and place them in the basket. Depending on, they're very sort of adaptable subs actually. You can have a vast array of different sensors and cameras and things mounted to the front. So depending on the type of research being conducted, we have sort of laser measuring devices, there's different cameras for recording, and there's a lot of variation.
And speed?
Speed, she reaches a sort of ground speed of about 3 knots. So
right.
it's not the most, it's not the quickest of vehicles, but it is pretty cool when you're under there.
Yeah.
So it's very condition dependent on where you can dive as well.
And to get in it, you get through the port. Yeah,
so we have the hatch at the top of the sphere there. And you sort of climb up onto the back, and we'll go around and have a look at the back there in a minute. There's some steps leading up the back, and you sort of lower yourself in the step in the centre there, centre helm.
And power, how is it powered?
So power-wise, we have 2 large battery banks in these sort of pods here on the undersides, consisting of 15 batteries each side. So that's 12 12-volt batteries and 3 8-volt batteries, combining on port and starboard side, giving you a total of 288 volts DC high voltage and 24 volts low voltage systems.
Right. Okay. So
so if you want, we can sort of work our way around the back.
Yep. They look quite small from the front. Well, not, and then when you come around the back, they are big, aren't they?
This is where all the machinery is.
Yeah.
The front is just like the viewing platform, effectively, and this is where all the hardware is.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
So how old are these? Are they quite new?
These ones here, that is a very good question. I don't know the answer to that one on these ones. I think they're probably about, they're probably around 5 years old. Maybe not quite that old, but yeah.
So like a car, it's miles. Do you just clock up hours on?
Exactly. It's usually either time-based or sort of hour-based. Some of it's even dive-based as well. And after each dive, you have a set amount of maintenance to do.
What's the most amazing place you've flown your sub?
That's a tough question.
Just the business end.
Some of the best places have been South Pacific, sort of South Pacific Islands and all around there.
Yeah.
There's some pretty spectacular places.
This is the business end then, you said.
This is certainly the business end. So out the back here, we have some additional buoyancy sort of hidden up in the wings here. All of these. This is the EJB, which is the external junction box, the electrical junction box. On the underside here is the VBT, the variable ballast tank.
So that fills up with water and...
So that's the intake for it there. So basically it's just the atmospheric pressure when you're under the water is enough to force water into the tank. And then when you want to pump it out, there is an internal pump and you literally just pump out the water until you're sort of, where you want to be, either going up or ascending or descending would be the words.
Cool.
You have, on the underside here, there's 6 very large compressed air tanks. So those are, now I have to remember.
They're those green things.
So the green ones, these 2, are the oxygen tanks. And all the 6 there, yeah. And these 2 black ones, these are main just compressed air tanks. So the oxygen is used for the atmosphere inside the sphere. So you just sort of gently bleed in O2 as you're breathing, basically. It works on a scrubber system, so it scrubs out some of the carbon dioxide that you exhale, and then you just tweak in a little bit of oxygen just to maintain the oxygen levels inside the sphere. And all of the air, basically, is just to bring yourself to the surface as buoyancy. So there's a lot of air for that. They actually fill up the inside of these tanks. So the whole sort of exterior shell is hollow. And that's where all of your buoyancy comes from, compressed air. So when you dive, there's some little vents on top. When you're on the surface, you open those vents, that lets the air out of those tanks and fills them with water, and you just go down. And when you're under, you close them off. When you want to come back up, you literally just fill those with air again and sort of come up.
And how long would a flight be?
A flight could realistically be anywhere up to around about 12 hours. It normally depends on your high voltage consumption, big consumers being the lights and thrusters. Also dependent on your scrubber and O2 levels and everything. But you could make it up to about 12 hours. Life support systems inside can run for around 100 hours. So
if you did get plopped on the bottom, it'll be all right for a bit.
You've got 100 hours.
Great. Okay. That's...
What else have we got down the back here? So these are the back end of the battery pods, basically. We actually have one of them off at the minute, just for some work. But so there's 15 batteries inside here. These cables run up to the inside of the electrical bottle, and that's where all of the electrical systems happen. There's also another one similar inside the sphere, but that's all the low voltage systems.
Great.
That's about all we have on the back here.
Can we look inside one?
Of course. So what we'll do is, if we go back around the front, we can climb up the ladder and into number 7.
Yep.